chess has been exploding recently. There's chess boxing, duck chess, even Messi and Ronaldo are playing chess. But in my opinion, there's a problem. The last major rule change was in the 1860s. So I decided to take this into my own hands and develop something even better than chess. Something bigger. So here's the plan. Right now in chess, all the pieces are weak and fragile. And I don't like that. So I'm going to take the chess pieces and give them all their own unique powers. I decided to begin with the basics of chess. Because you know what they say, to make chess 2.0, you must first make chess 1.0. So I started off by focusing on the most important part of chess. The geometrically structured 8x8 square grid with alternating line dark squares designated by algebraic coordinates whereupon a strategic turn-based board game is played. Or in other words, a chessboard. So I went ahead and copy and pasted the board from chess.com into my project, and there we go. We have our geometrically structured 8x8 square grid with alternating line dark squares designated by algebraic coordinates whereupon a strategic turn-based board game is played. Now, I don't know about you, but when I play chess, I usually like to play with pieces. So I decided to start on that next. At first I tried drawing them on my own, but in the end, I just ended up tracing them. Look at this handsome young man. So right now we have the board and the pieces, but no way to put them together. That's where the Ben system comes in, or more formally known as the Forsyth-Edwards notation. I don't want to bore you to death with the logistics, but basically you got letters, and then you also have numbers, and yeah. And now the pieces in the board are finally together. So at this point I thought it would be a good time to start brainstorming ideas for the power-ups. I spent a few hours eagerly writing down my ideas, and then I decided to make a post on Reddit asking for some feedback. Sadly, not everyone was as excited as I was. Sounds retarded. Thanks for asking.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And with that, I think we're ready to start. So for the possibility, if you don't know what en passant is, go look it up. I'm not your teacher. But basically there's a joke online that en passant should be forced. So I'm going to make en passant be forced. I went ahead and started implementing it, but then I took a break for an entire week. Big mistake. When I returned, the amount of spaghetti in my code was unhealthy. But lots of tears and brain damage later, I finally got it working. Now forced en passant was kind of boring on its own. So I also made it so you could write the en passant like this. Next, the idea for the knight's power-up is to steal the enemy's pieces. Or become them? Basically imagine this bottle of nail polish is the knight, and this fork is the enemy piece. And then the nail polish captures the fork, and boom! Now the nail polish is the fork. I hope that clears things up. I ended up implementing this fairly quick, and here's what it looks like in action. After developing the knight, I got bored, and I added beans. If this isn't the fanciest chessboard full of beans you've ever seen. Next, the bishop's ability is going to be moving twice per turn. This ended up being harder to code than I originally thought. Have you ever thought about putting a toothpick in your toenail and kicking the wall as hard as you can? Well, that's what coding the bishop made me want to do. You would think that the bishop was just a rook rotated 45 degrees, but no, you couldn't be more wrong. But in the end, we have a functioning bishop that can move twice and a very injured toe. Now for the rook's ability. I wanted to take inspiration from my favorite chess influencer and allow players to sacrifice.
That's right, you guessed it.
The Rook!
So first I Chef Boyardee'd up some buttons and an explosion effect. And now whenever you move the rook, you have an option to explode. And this is what happens. But I quickly realized this was a bit overpowered.
Huh?
So I changed it to only capture one piece in each of the directions. And now it's much more balanced. So for the queen, I decided to keep her as she is. Partly because she's overpowered, and partly because I couldn't think of any good power-ups. And right now, the king is probably feeling pretty nervous.
Huh?
And I don't blame him. So I thought it'd only be fair if I turned him into a tank. I ended up giving the king 2 extra lives and adding this damage effect when he gets hit. And now he can live much more comfortably. At the moment, our UI kind of looks like shit. So I ended up making a main menu and stealing some UI from chess.com.
Yoink!
And now it looks a little less like shit. Due to the pieces being slightly overpowered in this game, you tend to draw a lot. So I decided to make the tiebreaker a 1v1 quickscopes on Rust. I didn't actually implement that, but just use your imagination. If you'd like to try this game out, there's a link in the description. There's no multiplayer because that sounds like a lot of work. Okay, bye.